Had some questions on the 50K portfolio, a brief description for each strategy and the start and finish times, the time of day in which these strategies trade. So we're going to start with Cobra Crude. Right-click Studies. You can find this if you go to right-click Studies, Edit Strategies, and you double-click here. You see the long start time, 7 a.m. That's Eastern Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The short is 7 a.m. Eastern Time to noon Eastern Time. And then we exit 30 minutes later after the last possible entry time. Long exit time, 2:30 p.m. for longs, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for shorts. Cobra Crude is a intraday trend strategy. It does not look at the long-term trend. It looks at the trend intraday. It can enter trades based on intraday trend patterns on a very small pullback. Does not go in on breakouts. It looks for a fairly strong trend, buys on a small pullback for as a trend strategy. Cobra CT3, we're going to right click Studies, Edit Strategies. This is a strategy that enters trades at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This one is on local time because it uses market internals, and my local time is set to Eastern Standard Time. So depending on your computer's time, computer's clock, this needs to be adjusted for your difference from Eastern Standard Time. So if you were on Central Standard Time, this would be 9. If you were on Pacific Coast, it would be 7. This input would be Eastern Standard Time would be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it stops taking trades. That means that there's 1 hour left in the trading session. The day session for stocks, 1 hour and 15 for the futures. So it stops trading at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This would be 1400 if you were on Central Time, and 1200 if you were on Pacific Time. And so it exits at 1612, 3 minutes before the futures close. So 1612 is 4:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The futures close at 4:15 Eastern, 3:15 Central. And so those are the time-based inputs for Cobra CT3. This is a dip buying strategy, long only, buys the dip. So I'm also going to, there's also an additional adjustment I'm going to make for some of these strategies related to the holidays. Tradestation uses the .D symbol, and it plotted the day session data on Monday. This was a holiday, President's Day, January 15th. This data was plotted, and then in retrospect, if you refresh this will be removed. This data will be removed, and this trade will disappear. You should not be as affected by that as much. For whatever reason, there seems to be more of these, days where it plots it and then it takes it away on the .D symbol. In the past, it seems like they either kept it there or they removed it quickly before the next session. So some of you got this trade. If you remove this data, this trade disappears. So some of you took this trade, and some of you, your charts were already refreshed and it missed this trade. So want to set it up with the custom session without the .D. So my goal is to remove all .Ds now. This will take some time. Hopefully I can have it done before the next holiday where it's affected, and program this so that it does not look at holiday shortened sessions for open close ratio. So that's a side note on this. You'll be getting an update that deals with the logistics of trading around holidays, and not a strategy update related to changing the strategy to try to make it better. So that is Cobra CT3, and you also saw that in gap continuation in reverse. This gap down does not exist in gap continuation in reverse. Once this chart is refreshed, this was a small trade right around break even though, so it wasn't as affected as much. So Cobra CT3. Now let's go on to gap continuation 2020. Now this uses the 24-hour session. It is on exchange time. If you right click data, edit symbol, you'll see a data 2 here, and this data 2 uses, you go to properties, you can see it uses the Crude pit session, which is really just 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and it's based on exchange time. So even though it says Crude pit session, it's based on exchange time, so it's really 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my computer, but really it's actually Central Standard Time. So it won't start showing data until, if you unhide data 2, it won't start showing data until 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, depending on what your computer clock shows. And then it will show data until 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so that is the custom session. We're just basically cutting off the first 30 minutes and last 30 minutes of the stock market session to get rid of noise around those times. And so the data 1 will then make its calculations based on data 2, which uses a custom session. And this is a gap continuation strategy. So the times, the start and stop times for this, right click, edit strategies, and you see 9:30 is the start time, 11:30 is the finish time. These are our exchange times. So it will start at 9:30 Central, an hour after the open, and it can take entries for the next 2 hours. And it will exit at 14:30, 30 minutes before the stock market closes. This is also Central Time. And so this does not need to be adjusted, for the simple reason that you can check this by going right click, data, edit symbol, and you can double click on it. And if you're on exchange time, you don't need to adjust it for your time zone. And if you are on local time and you're not on Eastern Standard Time, you'll need to adjust these for your time zone. And so the only strategies that you need to do that on in this particular workspace are Cobra CT3 ES and Cobra 3 NQ, because those are the only ones that are on local time. I cannot make those on exchange time because they use market internals and subdata sets that are in different time zones. So if you right click data, edit symbol, you'll see all these tick is in a different time zone. So you have to use local, you can't use exchange. So, and then gap continuation methodology is just a continuation of a gap in the direction of the gap. Swing soybeans takes swing trades in soybeans. This tests well back to the 80s. And so let's right click and edit the strategy, and you can see the entry times. This basically, soybeans used to open at 7:30 Central, or it used to open up at 9:30 Central, an hour after the stock market. Now it opens when the stock market opens, and so it just enters within the first 15 minutes of the day. So there's no start and stop time. It's based on the first 15 minutes of the day. Based on patterns, it will take an entry, and it does not have an exit time. These are false. You can set them to true if you'd like to, but the base strategy does not have an exit time. It will use a night stop loss of 1,000, and data 2 is a custom session just for the day session only. It uses a day stop loss of 400, and it will get out at the first profitable open. So it either gets stopped out or at the first profitable open within the first minute of trading on the day session. So 8:31, if it was up on the trade at the open, then we'll exit 8:31 Central, 9:31 Eastern. So that is soybean swing. We're going to right click and take a look at the next strategy, SR counter trend for crude oil. So studies, edit strategies. You can double click here, and you can see that the start time is 2:01, and it's on exchange time. So Eastern Standard Time 2:01, Eastern Standard Time to 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and the exit time is 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are the start and stop times for that. And I'm going to right click next on SR counter trend crude oil 3. This is a dip buying. SR counter trend 4 is a dip buying day trade strategy in crude oil, or it also shorts rallies. So if the long-term trend is up, it buys the dips. It's a day trade. If the long-term trend is down, it shorts rallies. SR counter trend 3, same thing. It just holds overnight for a profit target. It won't get out at the end of the day. I find that sometimes getting out at the end of the day limits our opportunity, so we hold it a little longer. Diversity, that's part of the diversity of this portfolio, is dip buying crude oil, and it can hold overnight and over the weekend. Right click, studies, edit strategies, and we can see the time frame for entries and exits. And so it can enter between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is on exchange time. It doesn't have a day trade exit, doesn't have a Friday exit. So there's no exit time for this strategy. It just waits till it either hits its profit target of $500 or its stop loss of $800. So that is SR counter trend 3, crude oil A. Gold, same thing. Strong trend up, it buys a dip. Strong trends down, it shorts the rallies. And let's right click studies, edit strategies, double click, and it will begin trading at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We'll stop taking entries at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it has no exit. It will either get in, it'll either get out on a stop loss of 800 or profit target of 500. And gap continuation in reverse, one of our newer strategies. Here's an example. If you get, it only trades gap downs. The strategy only trades gap down, and it'll take a long trade if there's a gap down, there's some continuation, and then the market reverses. And it will take short trades if there's a gap down, and it doesn't continue, or it continues and then rolls over. So if it rolls over after the gap down and continuation, then it will take short trades. And so let's right click, studies, edit strategies, and you see here it will take entries. It doesn't have the time-based inputs for entries. That is in the code. This one is hard-coded to take long trades between 10 a.m. and 1:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it has about a 3-hour and 45-minute window. In order to take trades, waits an hour and a half before it starts taking trades, and it will stop taking trades at 1:45 Central Standard Time. So that it's the concept, if you take trades too late, you don't have enough time to really make much of it. But it's possible that could be, sometimes the market does move a lot in the last 30 minutes. So that is how this strategy works. It will exit Central Standard Time, long and shorts, 1 minute before the market closes. The futures close at 15:15 Central Standard Time or 3:15 Central Standard Time. So those are the time frames for that. That's gap continuation reverse. Once again, this also has this .D data up here. This will disappear if you refresh this chart, and then it will change the results. And so once again, don't like that. We'll be using the @ES H21 without the .D and changing the strategy such that it will make sure it doesn't count any of the open-close relationships for holidays, and so it won't change the results very much. It'll still be the same strategy, but its logistics around the way holidays are handled, and seems to be some differences in the way the data and when the data is updated. So SR counter trend 2. You see this trade here, minus 825 on the day yesterday, and you see this buys the dips in strong uptrends, shorts the rallies in strong downtrends. And let's right click, studies, edit strategies, and you see this 8:30 to 14:45. Those are the start and finish time for taking entries. That's based on Central Standard Time. It exits 5 minutes before the close. And that is SR counter trend 2, E-mini S&P. This strategy already trades. It already uses the @ES H21. That this won't disappear and it won't change the trade. However, I may rewrite this strategy because it changes the open-close relationships on a holiday, which is not so meaningful. And so sometimes it's distorted. It shouldn't change the results that much. I probably won't change it because I'm going to change the others, and it already uses @ES. But I'm going to look and see, how we can maybe potentially improve this strategy. In this case, to not look at this holiday session data right here. So, all right, let's look at the Cobra 3. This is similar to Cobra Crude. It looks at the short-term trend intraday. It does use market internals that don't relate to Cobra Crude, such as the advanced decline line. And so it will take, short-term, it'll go short-term long into the market if the intraday trend is up on a small pullback. and it will take short trades if the trend is down on slight rallies, not big rallies, but slight rallies. So that's Cobra Crude. It enters trades. You can right-click, studies, edit strategies. You can see that when it takes trades. It takes trades between 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this is on local, and my computer's on Eastern Standard Time. So if your computer is on Central Standard Time, this would be 8:45. This would be 14:30. This would be 1500. So entries between 9:45 and 15:30. Exits at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so those are the trades on the those are the descriptions on 50K portfolio, the setups and the base strategies. Look at the bonus strategies, and we've gone over some of the trades from yesterday as well. This is SR Counter Trend 3 natural gas. Hit a nice trade today on the long side. The SR counter trends all work the same way. This is SR counter trend 3 natural gas, SR counter trend 3B gold, 3B crude oil, and you can simply right click and see the start and stop times. I'm going to do that real quick on each of these. Basically, the SR counter trend 3s, all if the market is moving higher, it'll buy the pullback. If it's moving lower, it'll short the rally. So this one for natural gas, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exchange time, and it does not exit at the end of the day. It usually gets out on the stop loss or profit target. So SR counter trend 3B gold. This one, it take trades between midnight and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will exit. The B version does exit at the end of the day for gold, 1655, and you see that there, day trade exit 1655, and gold this closes at 1700. So it'll exit at the open of the last bar on the day. And let's look at SR counter trend 3B, crude oil. So hit a profit target last night. $7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the entry. There are no exits on this time-based exits. Stop loss or profit target is how this one exits. And Grains Day Trader 3, right click, edit strategies. Day trade strategy, it has a custom session that ends 5 minutes before the market stops trading, and use a $350 stop loss, $2,000 profit target. It will enter within the first few minutes of the day if it takes a trade. If it's not in the first few minutes, it won't take a trade, and it will exit at 13:14, 1 minute before the custom session. The open of the last bar in the custom session, the market will continue to trade an additional 5 minutes because this market now closes at 13:20. It used to close at 13:15, and Grains has had different open and closing times over the years, and so that is something to also consider when you backtest strategies. And so this has some inputs in that takes a look at that, as well as soybean swing. So VIX OC, VIX on close, it will not take the trade on the close. It will wait till that's the holiday. So it will wait till the open of the next day, 17:15. It will place a stop order at the open of the first bar. If this strategy does not trade on the first bar of the new session at 17:15, it will not take a trade for the day. It will exit. This will exit at, let's see, right click, studies, edit strategies, 3:45 Central. So this is on this one is on exchange time because the VIX is on the Chicago time, as well as the ES. So you can still use exchange time even though it uses the $ VIX. And you go in here, and there is no there's a 15:45. So 50 at the open of the last bar. If it's 15:45, it sends a market order to exit. So the open of the last bar, and you can it has a $1,000 stop loss, $1,000 profit target. Very simple. So it does not actually hold past a closed session, other than the 3:15 to 3:30 time period when the futures are closed, but it does not hold during the 1 hour closing session or over the weekend. And so those are the 15 strategies, the start times, the stop times, the exit times, and a brief description of how these work. This is based on relationships between the VIX and price action in the market, and what the market ought to do based on the VIX, and when there's a divergence, it looks to buy. It's long only VIX OC. So that's the 50K portfolio. Start, stop times, detailed information on how that works, and some of the strategy descriptions for the 50K portfolio.